Dave Mathews with Spark of Life with the number one grief tip, number 5 in our series of the top 10 number one grief tips that I want to share with you briefly today. And it is this. We've got to really watch this. Don't compare your losses with other people's losses. There's 2 things that can happen when you do that. Number one, I can minimize my feelings when I compare my losses to somebody whose losses are heavier than mine or more drastic than mine, such as if they've lost 5 children and you've only lost 1 child, only 1 child. You see, if I look at others who I think have greater losses than I do, then I might minimize my feelings and think I don't have a right to feel bad. If I look at others' losses and I compare my loss to them and say I have the worst loss in the history of the world, no matter how devastating your loss is, if I consider that the worst loss that anybody has ever experienced, then I might maximize my feelings of hopelessness. If I have the worst loss, how can I ever recover in a healthy way? If others have worse losses, maybe I just need to buck up, and then I deny my feelings of grief. I hope that's clear. So a little boy comes home from school, and he's sad, and he says to his parents, "My girlfriend broke up with me." This actually happened with us. One of our sons did that. And his girlfriend broke up. They were in kindergarten. I didn't know they were going together, all that stuff. And what if I had said, or his mother had said, something like, "Well, son, you shouldn't feel so bad. Your friend Timmy down the street's in a wheelchair, and he'll never walk again. He can't walk, and he can't play ball, and he can't run, and you get to do all that stuff. So you just need, when you experience something sad, you just need to look at others that have it worse than you do." Now, I told that to my kids at various forms when they were growing up. You probably have too. You probably heard that. You might have heard a preacher say it, or a religious leader. He said, when you feel bad, you need to look at others and you need to be grateful for what you've got. So buck up and stop having that frown. Well, grievers need to grieve. And comparing losses usually doesn't help. Now, later on, as I work through my grief, gratitude becomes a very big deal in grief recovery. We're going to talk about that later. But the grief tip of the day or the week, however often you see this, is don't compare your losses to others. It usually is not healthy. It doesn't really help. Your grief is your grief. And you have to grieve your grief and your loss, no matter what it is, in context with your life. You're the only one who decides what a loss is and what a major loss is. Your grief is your grief. And so don't compare your grief, your losses with others. That's the tip of the day or the week. I'm David Mathews for Spark of Life. For more help, go to sparkoflife.org, sparkoflife.org. Our mission is to walk beside those who have experienced loss. Have a great day living forward.